Yeah, it's really interesting. I think from a technology, obviously this day's very much been around technology and how that's going to affect future workforce or future customers. And actually, we didn't really talk about technology that much, or not so much in dwelling on blockchain or IoT or big data or cloud. Of course, all of those come in to the mix, but it was more about how do you, as an IT leader, twin that, and the importance of twinning that very clearly to a business outcome. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Don't do IT for the sake of IT. Do it to deliver some real value that helps your business achieve business goals. And it sounds simple, but actually not often done. And if you speak to Gartner, they will very much say digital transformation is not about necessarily going through your network and becoming digitally, from an IT perspective, ready. It's about how do you use that to change your business or deliver disruptive business streams, etc. So, and I think within that, it was then going through how do you bring the workforce with you? You can put all these wonderful tools in place, but if they're not being used, then what's the point? And even from that is with having to adapt to different workforce models, different ways of working, how do you ensure productivity moving forward? But also, if you look at things like AI, that brings, and I'd say generally the tone was very positive, by the way. AI can be looked at about something like, I'm going to lose my job, but actually no, it can do something that helps take maybe a more monotonous task away to then give you focus to do something perhaps more exciting or more business compelling. Of course, that brings with it the reality that you need to reskill as well. So, and that was very much, so it was not so much about individual vertical technologies, but more about how do you bring the company along on the journey to deliver a clear outcome. I think, hindsight's a wonderful thing. It's not surprising at all when you think about it. There's no, the very art of delivering some of these IT applications is to make an employee's life easier, to make them more productive, to take stress out of their day-to-day job, to enable, better working conditions. So at the heart of it, it's about people. But I think you get caught up in the project. I think, no, it's not a surprise, but I think there is definitely a learning. One of the gentlemen from McDonald's, Darren, came through, they're on their third wave of digital transformation. So it kind of started, and this is a journey that we see a lot of customers go through. Okay, I need to go and deliver a more agile network. So I go on a big network journey. Oh no, I've got to take my phone off. I don't want desk phones. I want a ubiquitous environment with no phones, no hardware. Okay, but why? And so very much there's a journey, it's iterative in nature. You start off building it, but then it's maybe not being used in the right way. So you go through the second wave. For example, security. You have to, when you're moving things to cloud, it's effectively sitting on someone else's computer, but it's your company's IP. So how do you make that more secure? You can make it hugely secure, but then it becomes almost not usable. So it's about thinking about the employee again on what is it like to work through and log in. If it takes half an hour every time to log in when you're working remotely, well, you might as well come into the office. So I think that very much it's an iterative process, and I think you learn as you go. And then certainly for Mark McDonald, the wave 3 was kind of the exciting thing, which is I've now got a network ready. I know how my employees are going to use it. Now I'm going to use it to deliver a changed business outcome, and new revenue streams, better margins, and all of that sort of stuff. This is something that we get more and more involved in as we, go and help companies on that transition. And I think the first thing is you need to have a clear view of what your business outcome is. The best outcome often for building a network or delivering a network is nobody knew that it happened. Yeah, which isn't a great epitaph to come back in for a multi-million-dollar investment, for example. But it's not the fact that you've delivered a network is what that can then achieve down the line. Yeah. So I think the first thing is definitely having a clear view of what the business outcome is. You can't do everything. There's this whole boiling the ocean. There's got to be a view of, almost certainly we see so many companies today that have limited resources from an IT perspective. You see a proliferation within businesses of a chief digital officer versus a chief technology officer. So, this concept of keeping changing the wheel while the car is running, which is not easy, obviously. So being able to break it down into meaningful tasks that can show progression to the CEO and to the workforce, but also takes you onto an endpoint. There's multiple stops along the way. You need to refuel, etc. But you can show success through the steps. So I think firstly, business outcome. Secondly, be clear on what the priorities are as you move through that. And of course, building a network fundamentally is one of the first, because it gives you the platform, or to use a horrible phrase, the plumbing, to enable you then to do all the other stuff off the back of it. And even within that, what we've seen really successful, certainly for CIOs and CTOs, is actually be clear on what sort of KPIs you're looking for. Whether that be reduced number of trouble tickets, a cost saving, a capacity or a speed of agility and network reconfiguring. Be able to demonstrate what you've achieved along that journey is also important as well in terms of indicating the spend, etc. And then, of course, outside of that, change is constant. So it's being agile constantly. The beauty of globalization and the beauty of a workforce that can connect anywhere, anytime is great, but it makes the market so much bigger, which means it's more open to exciting new ideas, new workforce, new types of employees. And therefore, the need to adapt your business is just there all the time, because entrants can come from anywhere with disruptive business models. So having an IT ecosystem that enables you to do that, so you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to spend a year and a half rebuilding a network to go and do something that you need to adapt to within 6 months from a business perspective, is critical as well.